This young man was gifted with a special ability by God since birth. Not only can he see ghosts, he can also touch them. So, relying on his skills that no one else has, Bong Joon decided to start a career by catching ghosts. He set himself a goal of earning 1 billion won. After earning that amount of money, he would no longer do this job. But when Bong Joon saw that the number in his savings account was only 102 million won, he thought that if he wanted to achieve his goal, he would need at least another 12 years to speed up the completion of his goal. Bong Joon decided to take on big jobs. However, this time he encountered an old ghost who had been dead for more than 10 years. When Bong Joon saw a tall man appear in front of him, he immediately ran out without daring to look back. That evening, Bong Joon had just finished eating and was preparing to go to bed when he received an anonymous text message. The person who sent the message asked him to go to the elementary school to exterminate the ghost there. Bong Joon originally didn't want to work overtime in the middle of the night, but the other party offered him a salary of 10 million won, so he quickly went to the school. Bong Joon saw the ghost girl in the office, and she immediately discovered him. Bong Joon quickly hid behind the wall. As expected, this 10 million ghost girl was not simple. When he peeked out to look again, the ghost girl had already appeared behind him. Bong Joon didn't show any mercy. He immediately grabbed the ghost girl's head with his hand. Then he threw her to the ground. The ghost girl lying on the ground kept screaming that her heart disease had relapsed. Bong Joon quickly bent down to check. In the end, he was tricked by Hyun-ji again. He was beaten up just like that. In the end, Bong Joon could only return home injured. But it wasn't that he was afraid of her. This time, he wanted to use the sword of his ancestral to kill her. Bong Joon returned to school once again. He rushed towards Hyun-ji and then fiercely slashed the sword down. As a result, she suddenly disappeared. Immediately after that, she appeared and kicked his butt. It seemed that even if Bong Joon had a weapon in his hand, he was no match for her. He angrily stood up and fought Hyun-ji. He suddenly rushed towards her, but he was not careful and caused both of them to roll down the stairs. Not only that, their lips even touched. At this moment, a scene suddenly appeared in Hyun-ji's mind. She seemed to have been stabbed to death before. That's probably why she hasn't been able to go to heaven for more than 5 years, because the soul of a wrongfully dead person has no way to enter reincarnation. Bong Joon ran away in shame. In order to regain her lost memories, Hyun-ji was forced to kiss Bong Joon again, but he was determined not to let her kiss him again. The next day, Bong Joon was walking on the street when Hyun-ji suddenly flew up in front of him and wanted to kiss him, but he firmly grabbed her hair and pulled her away. His cruelty made her very angry, but no matter what she said, he was determined not to let her achieve her goal. In order to chase Hyun-ji away, Bong Joon invited his master. Bong Joon's master used to be a very famous Taoist priest. Now he had to collect scraps to sell for money. It turned out that Bong Joon had known for a long time that he couldn't see ghosts at all, but he was very confident in teaching Bong Joon how to catch ghosts. He taught Bong Joon to use plastic wrap to catch ghosts and to use glutinous rice to chase ghosts. He even tried to act out a few tricks to fool others that he couldn't see ghosts but could smell them. Only then did Bong Joon realize that he was thinking too much. Then Bong Joon's master told him how he met the devil today. After listening to his master, Bong Joon decided that this time he would solve this case and earn money. That night, while Bong Joon was sleeping, Hyun-ji planned to take the opportunity to kiss him, but his master suddenly woke up in the middle of the night and ruined her plan. After waking up, Bong Joon thought that Hyun-ji had a plot to cause trouble, so he angrily kicked her out. The next day, Bong Joon's master woke up feeling pain all over his body, but he really didn't know what happened last night. After Bong Joon finished eating, he took Hyun-ji to the woman's house yesterday. After she ran away, Bong Joon went to the bedroom again. At this time, Hyun-ji seemed to have discovered something, so the two of them started to separate. After Bong Joon entered the bedroom, he immediately noticed that there was a problem with the wardrobe. He opened it and saw that there was nothing inside, but then he was pulled inside by a hand. When Bong Joon reacted, the ghost was already near him, but the ghost did not harm him. She even told Bong Joon to leave this place quickly. It turned out that the woman's husband was a violent man when he was alive. He left her to die in the closet. Unexpectedly, after the girl died, his temper did not change. He kept beating her. Bong Joon angrily rushed out, but he discovered that Hyun-ji was being controlled by the husband. Bong Joon immediately rushed over and pushed him out the door, but this ghost was extremely violent. After death, his strength increased, so he easily lifted Bong Joon up. At the crucial moment, Hyun-ji rushed to rescue Bong Joon. This made his murderous aura even heavier. However, Hyun-ji also discovered his weakness. Hyun-ji saw him charging at her again, so she told Bong Joon to pick her up. She took the opportunity to kick him, then she grabbed him from behind. Hyun-ji then signaled Bong Joon to give him a fatal punch in the waist. The wife saw that her husband had been taken care of, so she bowed to thank the two of them. After that, she was relieved and passed on. After experiencing this, Bong Joon also discovered Hyun-ji's kindness and reliability, so he decided to reward her a little. Unexpectedly, he used a kiss to reward her. This surprised her greatly. On this side, the two bloggers who had previously discussed discovered Bong Joon's abnormality, uploaded the video they had recorded online. But the result was that they received a lot of questions from netizens. This fat woman was one of them. Just now, this woman criticized that the female celebrity was dead and she still wanted to gain attention. Immediately after that, the lights in the elevator suddenly flashed abnormally. Then, the phone in her hand started to automatically play the video of the female celebrity doing something stupid. The woman immediately looked back in fear. At this moment, the female celebrity suddenly appeared, scaring her. After the perfect cooperation from the last time, Hyunji finally moved into Bong Joon's house smoothly. Although she was a spirit that didn't take up much space in the house, her luxurious eating habits were the problem. In order to not attract attention, Bong Joon could only put the beef back in the cart. He tried to smile, but in his heart, he was extremely reluctant to spend money. It seemed that he needed to take on more work to earn more money. On the other hand, the two bloggers caused a big scene. They posted the video of Bong Joon chasing away a ghost online, and very quickly, many people left negative comments. The blogger's experience in arguing was poor, so he was overwhelmed by his opponent. After the bearded man won the argument, he intended to argue with the famous female celebrity like before, but the female celebrity from yesterday died. She even filmed the whole process. This scared the bearded man so much that he threw his phone on the ground, but then he looked down on the female celebrity, saying that she was easily influenced. However, at this moment, his TV suddenly started playing the female celebrity's video. At this moment, he was really scared. As a result, a second later, a white hand reached out, along with the man's frightened scream. The next day, the two bloggers went to the bearded man's place. They were determined to fight him directly. As a result, as soon as they entered the door, they discovered that the man was dead. They immediately ran out. The police arrived very quickly. The two were also taken to the police station for investigation. Only then did they learn that last night, several administrators of the female celebrity's anti-fan page had also died. Based on the development of the case, those who had previously opposed her would all be killed. Hearing this, Cheon Sang began to feel scared. It turned out that he had once left bad comments about the female celebrity. Returning to their room, the two logged into the anti-fan page. All the members there were dead. It was said that anyone who had ever left a bad comment about the female celebrity would be cursed. Cheon Sang began to comfort himself that he had only left a bad comment, so nothing would happen. The result was that the video of the female celebrity automatically played on his computer screen. The next day, In-nam went to Bong Joon for help. In-nam hoped that Bong Joon could save his friend. At this time, Cheon Sang was still hiding in the house. He was holding the exorcism objects and trembling in fear. However, when Cheon Sang received In-nam's call, the signal suddenly stopped. The screen showed the video of the female celebrity again. Cheon Sang was so scared that he ran around. As a result, he had just run to the door when the female celebrity suddenly appeared. He was scared to the point of fainting. She grabbed his hand and was about to cut it off. At the crucial moment, Hyunji appeared to stop her. Hyunji told her that evildoers would receive retribution. If she continued to do so, she would only create karma for herself. Hearing this, she was silent for a moment, but then she rushed over and pressed Hyunji to the ground, preparing to kill Hyunji. At the crucial moment, Bong Joon finally chased after the female celebrity and pushed her away. After she stood up, she wanted to fight to the end. However, when she saw her appearance in the mirror, she finally realized that hatred had turned her into a murderer. She was now just like that malicious commenter online. Just like that, she finally found her true self and left peacefully. On the way back, Hyunji saw a beautiful pink dress, but when Bong Joon saw the price tag on it, he immediately said that Hyunji was not worthy of it. After saying that, he turned around and left, making her feel extremely upset. However, that night, when she was sleeping, the clothes on her body suddenly changed to that pink dress. It turned out that, although Bong Joon said that, he secretly went back to buy that dress and burned it for Hyunji. A moment later, she appeared on the rooftop wearing that pink dress. He was so captivated by her beautiful appearance that he couldn't take his eyes off her. On this side, this woman was taking a bath when she suddenly felt something touching her leg. She looked down suspiciously and was extremely frightened. Wherever there were ghosts, these two stupid bloggers would appear. Because Bong Joon had a big fight with a female celebrity yesterday, it caused serious damage to Cheon Sang and In-nam's place. The landlord required the two of them to pay $1 million in compensation for repairs before letting them stay here. Because they had no money, they could only carry all their belongings and wander around the streets looking for a place to stay. It wasn't until late at night that In-nam finally found a cheap sauna for the two of them to stay overnight. However, they completely ignored why the price here was so cheap. The two of them just went into the sauna. They found out that there was no one there, but they didn't think much of it and just found a room and slept. At midnight, In-nam couldn't stand the cold, so he went out. However, as soon as In-nam left, the lights in the room suddenly flickered and went out. Cheon Sang woke up because of that. He wanted to run out but was pulled back by the evil spirit. When Cheon Sang was about to be in danger, In-nam finally heard the noise. So In-nam ran to open the door door for Cheon-sang. After that, the two of them could only lie on the school bench and sleep for the night. After In-nam found out the information, he immediately knew that someone had died in that sauna before. A month ago, there was a rumor that someone was haunted by a ghost in the area, which was why the price was so cheap. At this time, Bongjun suddenly came from afar, so he immediately chased after the two people to demand the ghost-catching fee the day before. However, the two people now had no money to pay Bongjun. However, Bongjun's appearance gave In-nam an idea. That afternoon, In-nam and Cheon-sang used the remaining money to rent a suit. Then they went to the owner of the sauna and said that they would help him catch ghosts. Then the two asked Bongjun to talk. They said that they would pay Bongjun a commission for this cooperation. It turned out that the two wanted to be the middlemen in this ghost-catching case. As long as Bongjun could kill the demon in the sauna, he could easily receive the amount of 1,500,000 won. However, Bongjun did not want the middleman to earn such a large profit, so he stood up and wanted to leave. Seeing this, Cheon-sang quickly stood up to stop Bongjun. Then Cheon-sang increased the fee to 3 million won. Bongjun immediately agreed when he heard that. However, Bongjun did not know that the amount the sauna owner gave was actually 4 million won. After finishing eating, the three of them went to the sauna to do their mission. Under Cheon-sang's guidance, Bongjun went into the room where the ghost often scared people. However, they searched for an hour without finding anything. On this side, Hyun-ji fell asleep because she drank too much alcohol. While the three of them were still searching the sauna room to find the ghost, they suddenly heard Hyun-ji scream. It turned out that the ghost had already appeared. When the three of them arrived, the ghost did not want to waste time with them, so he disappeared. Then he picked up Hyun-ji and threw her at Bongjun. Although this ghost's power was not too great, it was still very difficult to deal with him. Bongjun used all his strength, but he was still tormented by the ghost. In the critical moment, Hyun-ji drank a cup of tea to sober up. Then she slid on the ground and tried to fight back. Unexpectedly, the ghost grabbed her by both hands and pulled her up. He tried to force a kiss on her. Bongjun immediately jumped over and flipped the ghost to the ground. But before Bongjun could stand up, the ghost grabbed his legs and broke them. Just when Bongjun thought he couldn't hold on any longer, Hyun-ji finally came to her senses. She saw the ghost's weakness, so she told Bongjun. In the end, Bongjun aimed at his weakness and attacked. The ghost was beaten to pieces right in front of everyone. This successful cooperation gave In-nam and Cheon-sang enough money to pay for the repair fee of the room. Moreover, the four of them formed a group to kill ghosts. From now on, they decided to focus on helping Bongjun find customers. Cheon-sang and In-nam only took the commission fee. Bongjun didn't want to agree at first, but when he heard about the benefits of forming a group, he immediately changed his mind. It turned out that Cheon-sang had dragged the goddess Seo-in-na into the group. They even arranged a team-building event to give Bongjun a chance to be with her. The next day, the whole group went to the suburbs for a vacation. Bongjun was always smiling happily. Hyun-ji was treated coldly, so she could only sit by the river alone. But at this moment, something unfortunate happened. While In-na was still sitting on the bridge swinging her legs, suddenly a hand reached out from under the water, grabbed her leg, and pulled her down. Hyun-ji, who was sitting next to her, saw this and immediately ran over to save In-na. However, a ghost like Hyun-ji couldn't touch a living person. At the crucial moment, Bongjun discovered it in time. He immediately rushed over and pushed Hyun-ji away. In the end, he successfully saved In-na to the shore. Fortunately, he arrived in time, so nothing happened to her. At this time, Bongjun got angry with Hyun-ji. In his anger, he accidentally said some unfounded criticisms to her. Hyun-ji heard Bongjun's unreasonable criticism and angrily turned around and left. Then she sat on the bridge in an angry mood. At this time, Bongjun also ran to the grocery store to ask for a nearby pharmacy. When the woman found out that he and his friend were going on a picnic by the river, she immediately warned him to leave quickly because there was a water ghost there that had harmed many people. Hearing this, Bongjun realized that he had wrongly blamed Hyun-ji, so he immediately ran to the riverbank to find her. At the same time, Hyun-ji was still sitting on the bridge. She completely did not notice that a white shadow was approaching her. Hyun-ji was immediately pulled into the water by her. Hyun-ji was dragged into the river by the water demon, but she had no way to escape. Hyun-ji could only despair and let herself gradually sink deeper into the lake. At this moment, Bongjun ran over in time. He immediately jumped into the lake, quickly hugged her, and swam to shore. However, at this moment, the water demon suddenly appeared and hugged Bongjun's neck tightly. Hyun-ji couldn't hold on to Bongjun, so she let go and gradually sank deeper. At this moment, Bongjun used his foot to kick the water demon away, causing her to disappear. Finally, Bongjun was able to carry Hyun-ji to shore. Because she had been in the water for too long, her soul appeared and disappeared, feeling like it was about to disappear. The next morning, Bongjun woke up on time to prepare to go out. However, Hyun-ji never woke up today. It turned out that she had recovered her memory. In her dream, she was hit by a car. Then she was taken to the hospital. Bongjun wanted to wake Hyun-ji up, but when he touched her, he realized that her body was very hot. He wondered if ghosts had a fever. It was the first time in his many years of ghost hunting that he had encountered such a situation, so he called the school to ask for a leave of absence. Then, Bongjun cooked rice and waited for Hunji to wake up. At noon, she finally woke up. When she found out that he had asked for a leave of absence to take care of her, she was very touched. The next day, Hyunji felt better, so Bongjun went to school again. When the two of them arrived at school, Cheon-sang and In-nam had been waiting for them for a long time. They wanted to form a more professional-looking ghost hunting team, so they started by changing their appearance. Then they quickly received a big case. Just because their daughter got second place in the exam, this biological mother scolded her daughter for an entire hour, but the daughter did not dare to say a word. She just silently looked at the report card and secretly shed tears. She felt guilty towards her mother, who worked hard every day, so she thought of something stupid and stood on the edge of the terrace, intending to do something stupid. At this moment, a ghost appeared beside her, making her scream in fear. Early the next morning, the mother arranged a new tutor for her daughter. She also prepared to bring fruit to her daughter, who was still studying hard in the room. However, as soon as she entered the door, she was so scared that she dropped the fruit plate on the ground. Her daughter's room was filled with torn exam papers and books. The daughter next to her was even using a knife to cut her textbooks. Immediately after, the mother screamed miserably. It turned out that her daughter dared to use a knife to cut her hand. From that day on, the little girl seemed to have turned into a completely different person. Soo-chung had always been plain, but now she wore heavy makeup. When Soo-chung's mother saw this, she immediately told Soo-chung to take off her clothes, but Soo-chung pushed her mother onto the bed. Then she glared at her mother and said, "Don't control me. My daughter is dead because no one can live with a mother like her." After saying that, Soo-chung opened the door and went out. The mother followed Soo-chung. She was extremely disappointed to know that her daughter went to such an indecent bar. The mother rushed in and saw her daughter doing intimate acts with a strange man in the bar. She immediately pulled Soo-chung up and slapped Soo-chung. However, Soo-chung just stared at her and then laughed crazily. When Bongjun's group arrived, Soo-chung was locked in the room by her mother, but Soo-chung still tried to bang on the door like crazy. After Bongjun learned the specifics of the situation, he knew that this was definitely not a normal mental illness. Suddenly, a crashing sound came from inside the room. Bongjun quickly went in to check, but he found that the wall was covered in bloody scratch marks. Soo-chung was sitting in a corner, frantically scratching her hair. Soo-chung's 10 fingers had long since turned into something she had gnawed on. In Bongjun's eyes, this was not a girl, but a female ghost with short hair. It seemed that Soo-chung had been possessed by a demon, but just as Bongjun was about to rush forward, she grabbed his leg and threw him to the ground. Then she immediately sat on him and strangled him. Even Hyunji, who came to help Bongjun, was thrown away by her with one hand. When the mother heard the sound coming from inside the room, she was worried that her daughter would be hurt, so she immediately ran over. Because of that, Bongjun and Hyunji couldn't use all their strength to hit Soo-chung. She suddenly rushed out and ran straight to the rooftop with a devilish smile. When Bongjun caught up, one of her legs had already been lifted up and extended out. At the crucial moment, Hyunji appeared beside her in time to hold her back. Hyunji wanted to take this opportunity to wake Soo-chung up, but her body had already been taken over by the devil. Then she grabbed Hyunji's neck. Luckily, Bongjun ran over in time. The devil threw Jihan aside. The longer the devil took over the body, the higher the fusion with the body. The devil living in Soo-chung's body made it difficult for Bongjun to attack. In the end, he was choked by her neck. Seeing this scene, the mother finally realized her problem. She walked forward and apologized to her daughter. As the mother got closer, the devil let out a painful scream because Soo-chung was trying to chase it out of his body. After the demon escaped from Soo-chung's body, Bongjun finally showed his strength. He used a punch to make the demon disappear immediately. After the demon disappeared, Soo-chung and her mother hugged each other and cried. After experiencing this, the mother also knew how to treat her daughter well. The university professor was scratched by a stray cat and injured his hand. He told the female student that he was fine. However, at night, he secretly returned there. When there was no one around, he strangled the cat to death. But this scene was coincidentally seen by Seo Kyung. She hid in a corner and covered her mouth, not daring to make a sound. Only after the professor left did she dare to step forward to see the situation. At this time, she discovered that the entire family of kittens could not escape death. The pen of the professor was also left at the scene. The next day, Mr. Ju went to class as usual, but when he left, he actively avoided Hunji. So Hunji suspected that Mr. Ju could see ghosts. However, Bongjun did not pay attention to this. At noon, Ina saw So Kyung sitting in the middle of the schoolyard, so she went over to talk to him. But then So Kyung hurriedly left, and from her backpack, Mr. Ju's pen fell out. So Ina picked it up and returned it to him. This also made Mr. Ju guess that yesterday's incident had been discovered. In the evening, when So Kyung was returning home alone, she was blocked by Mr. Ju again. He held out the pen and asked her, but when she saw the pen in his hand, she immediately turned around and ran away. But she ran into a small alley. Just now, Miss Ju was behind her her, but now he appeared right in front of her. He immediately grabbed So Kyung's neck. He didn't say much but broke her spine. The next day in class, Miss Ju pretended to ask the students where So Kyung was. He had thrown her on a mountain in the suburbs. After school, Hyunji was talking about this with a female ghost named So Jin. So Jin originally didn't care if anyone went missing. However, when So Jin heard Hyunji mention that Mr. Ju was a very handsome man, So Jin's attitude immediately changed. After school, So Jin followed Mr. Ju to a veterinary hospital that he opened. When she saw the certificates of merit hanging all over the room, she was immersed in it and couldn't get out. Suddenly, So Jin saw So Kyung's student ID card in there. While So Jin was still wondering, he opened the door and walked in. So Jin originally wanted to go over and kiss Teacher Ju, but he opened his mouth and said that she was annoying for following him all the way here. So Jin was very surprised when he looked at her. She didn't expect that this person could see ghosts. When she wanted to run away, he strangled her. Anyone who discovered his secret wouldn't be able to survive. His right hand kept squeezing So Jin's neck. In the end, her soul disappeared into thin air. The next day, a tourist who went up the mountain to pick mushrooms accidentally discovered Seo Kyung's body in the forest. Through a quick investigation, the police found out that the main suspect was Teacher Ju. Based on the video of the trip, the police discovered that not long after So Kyung died, Teacher Ju also went up the mountain. However, because there was no solid evidence, the police could only release him first. Teacher Ju left police station smugly. Even if the police had evidence, he wouldn't be afraid, because in this world, he was only afraid of people like him, and something like him was in Bong Joon's hands. Bong Joon and Hyunji couldn't sleep in the middle of the night, so they sat watching TV. Somehow, he turned to a channel that was showing a kissing scene. The atmosphere was extremely awkward. At this time, Bong Joon suddenly received a new ghost-catching mission. The victim this time was extremely strange. He looked very alert, but he had the appearance of someone being haunted by a ghost. One morning last week, the man woke up from his bed, then suddenly rushed into the bathroom and locked himself inside. When the whole family rushed in, the man did something stupid. From that day on, every day he woke up, he would scream non-stop. Everyone in the family thought he was possessed. His sister took Bong Joon into his bedroom. However, as soon as she opened the curtain, it closed automatically. Then a female ghost appeared and sat on the man named Deok Jin. Bong Joon was about to attack when the female ghost suddenly disappeared. At this time, Deok Jin also started screaming. Hyunji saw the photo on the table and discovered that the female ghost was Deok Jin's girlfriend. Deok Jin's mother was heartbroken and blamed the girl for being dead, but still clinging to Deok Jin. The next morning, Deok Jin's condition was even worse. When Deok Jin's sister ran into the room, it was already a mess. His head was bleeding for some reason. Deok Jin pushed his sister down and then ran out the door frantically. Deok Jin's sister was about to stand up and chase after him when she discovered the female ghost next to her. When Bong Joon arrived, Deok Jin had already run to a bridge by the river. That was where he scattered his girlfriend's ashes. Everyone hurriedly drove there, but at this time, Deok Jin was already standing on the edge of the bridge, ready to jump down. At this time, the female ghost was also standing right behind him. Luckily, Bong Joon ran over in time. Hyunji also appeared right next to him and successfully hugged the female ghost. Hyunjin asked the female ghost why she wanted to kill the person she loved, but she said that she didn't want to kill Deok Jin, but wanted to save him. While the two girls were arguing, Deok Jin let go and jumped down the bridge. At this time, Bong Joon had chased after them. He didn't hesitate and jumped down. Finally, Bong Joon saved Deok Jin and brought him to shore. The female ghost also quickly ran over to see. Only then did everyone know the whole story. It turned out that half a year ago, Deok Jin had a brain tumor. The doctor said that his surgery success rate was not high, but he shouldn't give up hope. This information made him lose faith in life. On the way home, his girlfriend met him drunk. Although she didn't know what happened, she kept encouraging Deok Jin to keep going. His girlfriend's kindness and liveliness gave him hope again. The more time they spent together, the more quickly they officially fell in love. However, the day of his surgery came. He might not wake up, so before entering the operating room, he told his girlfriend about it. When she heard this, she immediately rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, the surgery was a success. The first thing he wanted to do after waking up was to call his girlfriend to tell her the news. However, what he received was bad news. It turned out that his girlfriend had an accident on the way to the hospital. She died because of her serious injuries, so the two lovers were now separated by life and death. Deok Jin also blamed himself a lot, so he wanted to close the distance with his girlfriend. It was always because she stopped him from doing something stupid. Under his girlfriend's persuasion, Deok Jin finally came to his senses. He decided to listen to her and live a good life. Bong Joon understood the fear of the female ghost, but in the end, he still did not hesitate and decided to fall in love with Hyunji. Today, Bong Joon's master suddenly came to Bong Joon's house, so he ran into Hyunji. He warned her that it was best to leave Bong Joon because Bong Joon had been harmed by a demon. When he was young, a demon possessed his body. Bong Joon's master invited about God to help. They had to spend a lot lot of effort to successfully chase that demon away. Unexpectedly, it was only weakened, not completely destroyed. That demon was born with resentment. Then he pushed Bongjun's mother, causing her to be hit by a car and die right in front of him. Perhaps it was because the spirit of the devil still remained in his body. From then on, he could see ghosts again. But how could a child like him at that time accept these ghosts? Bongjun was tormented by ghosts every day. Because Bongjun could see ghosts, his friends all avoided him. In the end, he could only grow up alone. Therefore, humans and ghosts cannot be together. After Hunji learned about Bongjun's background, she thought for a long time she could not live and die with the other person just because she liked someone. After all, humans and ghosts could not have a happy ending. When Bongjun returned home, he saw a letter left by Hunji. The two of them made an appointment to meet at the beach. They would sit on a boat together and watch the fireworks. Bongjun completely ignored Hunji's abnormality. When he bought water again, she disappeared. When he returned home to look for her, he still couldn't find her. Only after he met his master did he find out what had happened. At this time, Hunji went to an internet cafe and found the hospital that appeared in her memory. She then went there according to the address. But when she was crossing the street, she suddenly encountered a car accident not far away. This scene made her remember a piece of her memory. It seemed that she was intentionally stabbed by someone else, and the murderer was Teacher Ju. At the same time, Teacher Ju was also on the street. At this time, he saw Hunji standing in front of him. He remembered the scene from that year. That night, after stabbing Hunji to death, he originally wanted to find something on her body, but he didn't expect the police to arrive so quickly, so he could only quickly leave the scene. Hunji waited in front of the hospital until it got dark. When a woman from Hunji's dream appeared, Hunji followed her. It was very likely that this was Hunji's mother. Hunji followed her mother into the house. This was where she used to live, but now she had no memory of it. At this time, her mother suddenly received a phone call. Her mother immediately rushed to the hospital. Hunji also quickly ran behind. At this moment, a scene made Hunji extremely surprised. Hunji found herself lying on a hospital bed. It seemed that she was not dead yet. What was going on? At this time, Bongjun and Cheon-san were on their way to handle some work when they crashed into a female ghost. Although this ghost was extremely powerful, it could not escape Bongjun's kick. But at that moment, car rushed straight towards him. Fortunately, he was only slightly injured. They had already taken him to the hospital. At the elevator door, the three of them passed by the unconscious Hunji without realizing it. It turned out that she wasn't dead, but her soul had left her body. The first thing Hunji thought of was that she had to tell Bongjun. The two of them could finally be together openly. But at this moment, Teacher Ju came looking for her. He had learned from his doctor friend that Hunji had a high chance of waking up. So when she left, he entered the special monitoring room where her body was. On this side, Hunji finally found Bongjun, who was preparing to leave in front of the hospital. But before she could say that she was alive, her soul suddenly appeared and disappeared. It turned out that Teacher Ju in the hospital room had already started to act up. He had transferred his soul into Hunji's body. This coercion caused her heart to stop beating. Hunji's soul also had no strength left and collapsed to the ground. At this time, the doctors heard the alarm and quickly rushed into the hospital room. They tried again and again, hoping to revive Hunji. However, because her heart had stopped beating, her soul gradually disappeared. However, she did not die. After being in a coma for 5 minutes, she finally woke up. This result was completely beyond Teacher Ju's expectations, so he could only speed up his plan. Bongjun returned to the hospital and searched everywhere. He finally discovered Hunji concentrating on practicing calligraphy, so he immediately rushed inside and hugged her. Although Hunji had woken up, the memories of when her soul left her body were completely gone. So at this moment, Hunji was like meeting Bongjun for the first time. He saw her skeptical look, but he still did not give up. So whenever he had free time, he would come to the hospital room and tell her about the things they had experienced before. At first, Hunji felt that Bongjun was like a pervert, but she still had a very familiar feeling. It made her want to get closer to him involuntarily. That night, the two of them talked in the flower garden until late at night. Because Hunji had not recovered yet, Bongjun wanted to take her home. As a result, the two of them accidentally fell to the ground. At this time, the unexpected kiss happened again. Bongjun felt that this time the feeling was no different from the last time he kissed her soul. However, Hunji had forgotten that she had tried every way to kiss him, so now in her mind, he was a pervert. On the other side, the police discovered a body. Unexpectedly, it was Bongjun's father. Bongjun's father left him and went to live in a temple when he was very young. Bongjun had to grow up alone, so he didn't want to see his father again. However, the truth is that Bongjun's father wanted to protect Bongjun, so he accepted to live in a temple. During the funeral, Hunji went to the shrine to visit Bongjun. When she saw the portrait, she suddenly remembered that she seemed to have met Bongjun's father once. Under the guidance of Master Bongjun, the origin of the incident was finally explained. Although the original demon was exorcised, Bongjun's mother created a precious bead to protect his safety. This was the only thing that could harm that demon. After Bongjun's mother was murdered by the demon, that bead was always worshipped in the temple. Bongjun's father was the one in charge of protecting and preventing the demon from destroying it. However, one day the demon still discovered the location of that bead. In a panic, Bongjun's father met Hyunji praying at the temple, so he handed it over and asked her to bring this rosary to Bongjun. Unfortunately, she was still a step too late. Hyunji was stabbed by the devil. After that, she was in a coma for 5 years. The matter gradually became clear. Teacher Ju was possessed by the devil. He had been looking for one thing, which was this rosary. Bongjun's master immediately went to the temple to ask a god to strengthen the magic power of his sword, but they were too careless. At this time, Hyunji accidentally fell into Teacher Ju's trap. She was drugged by him and fell into a coma. Then he tied her up. Then they went to the subway station where Hyunji had left the bag. Teacher Ju finally found the rosary there. Teacher Ju now had what he wanted. Hyunji was no longer of any use, so he used his hand to lift her up. His hand's strength kept increasing. When he was about to strangle her to death, Bongjun arrived in time. However, unfortunately, Bongjun was no match for this evil spirit. Bongjun's master saw that the evil spirit still wanted to take over Bongjun's body, so he immediately ran to save him. He cut off his palm, then sprinkled fresh blood on the knife, causing the words on it to immediately glow. Then he used all his strength to slash hard at Teacher Ju. Teacher Ju was slashed back a few steps. He absolutely did not expect that Bongjun's master could still slash with such great power. Immediately after that, he also fell to the ground. In the end, he could not move anymore. After that, Bongjun's master was also not okay. This battle caused him to lose a lot of strength. However, before he could rest, a black aura once again formed into the shape of Teacher Ju and appeared. When Bongjun's master saw this, he quickly ran to protect Bongjun. He used all his strength to block the demon's attack. Hyunji quickly searched for the rosary, because only it could kill this demon. Hyunji immediately searched around. She finally found it, but Bongjun's master couldn't hold on any longer. Bongjun saw that the demon was still trying to attack, so he took the rosary that Hyunji threw over. Then Bongjun used all his strength to launch a final attack. The moment the demon made contact with the rosary, it immediately disappeared into thin air. Bongjun quickly went to check on his master. However, no matter how Bongjun called out, he didn't react at all. Just as Bongjun was grieving, thinking that the master was dead, he suddenly coughed. Then he stood up strongly. He went to Teacher Ju's body. After he examined Teacher Ju's condition, he was finally relieved. The demon had been completely destroyed. However, Teacher Ju was really unlucky. Although he was controlled by the demon, he still could not escape crime. In the end, Teacher Ju was still taken to the police station to receive the judge. At this time, Hyunji's mother also quickly ran over. However, she did not like Bongjun, so she immediately took Hyunji back home. Before leaving, Hyunji's mother advised Bongjun to give up Hyunji for her own good. The next day, Hyunji's family moved to another place. At this time, she was also studying hard to prepare for the university entrance exam, and the day of the exam results came very quickly. Perhaps because Hyunji had spent 5 years as a ghost, after waking up, she was still able to see the ghosts around her. She was still constantly bothered by the ghosts. This made her angry and kicked them. A few days later, Bongjun received an invitation. He used his identity as a senior to attend the welcoming party for new students. He originally did not want to participate in such noisy activities, but he was still dragged away by other students. At this time, Bongjun met Hyunji here. That night, the two of them returned to Hyunji's house. When Hyunji's mother opened the door and saw Bongjun, she immediately revealed a forced smile. Then she invited him into the house. Bongjun thought that his first meeting with Hyunji's mother would be successful, but as soon as Bongjun sat down, Hyunji's mother expressed her intention to send him away. She didn't like him from the beginning when she met him. Her daughter had just returned from the dead, and he appeared and said that he was her daughter's boyfriend. This made her suspect that he had bad intentions. These words made Bongjun understand her thoughts. He felt sad and left. Hyunji was still struggling when she received an unexpected answer from her mother. Hyunji's mother said that Bongjun didn't seem like a spoiled child. Hyunji agreed and said that he was very kind. After that, Hyunji and Bongjun were about to officially start a normal life when Cheonsang and Innam came to find them to catch ghosts. However, Bongjun didn't want to do this job anymore because he had worked very hard not to return to normal life. However, when he thought of the grateful eyes of the souls they had saved, he still couldn't abandon the lingering souls that couldn't be released. So he went to ask his master for advice. His master told him that there was no happiness like creating happiness for others. These words from his master made Bongjun understand the meaning of life. Just like that, Bongjun and his friends' ghost-catching team was re-established. They begin their new mission to exorcise evil spirits. That is the entire content of the film. Thank you, everyone, for watching.